Pretty well.
Pretty well,
Tregenza.
good. Then my streak so far is unblemished. But with that, I will turn it over to Lindsay. Lindsay is our ITE Council Leadership Team Vice Chair presently. She will be the chair of the leadership team, which encompasses the technical councils. She and her colleague are going to speak this morning about a technical topic first, and then she's going to mention a little bit about the technical aspects of ITE. So with that, Lindsay, I will let you self-introduce yourself as well as Todd.
Sounds great. And can you guys see us, or are we just remoting in?
So we can see you.
Oh, wonderful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I am, as John said, I'm Lindsay Van Paris with GHD. I sit in our Sacramento, California office, but I am the Transportation Business Group Leader for the US West. And then my colleague, Todd Tregenza. Todd, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. I'm a colleague of Lindsay's at GHD. I sit in Sacramento, California as well, and I am the for GHD. I'm the Transportation Planning and Traffic Engineering Service Line Lead for the Americas region.
Wonderful. And can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. And great to see you all. We are going to today be talking about bringing together planning, design, and innovation to improve access and safety for all. And with that, you're going to get the engineering perspective from me and the planning perspective from Todd. So Todd is a planner by trade and I am an engineer by trade, and we work together very routinely on projects throughout the country, and we're going to walk you through some of those together. So with that, I will turn it over to Todd.
Great. Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about reconnecting communities. This is something that has been talked about quite a bit these days, and it's something we've addressed for a long time. It's kind of the next evolution in my mind of the multimodal corridor plan or the comprehensive corridor plan. But what I wanted to start off by acknowledging was that in many cases we assume the roadway has divided the community, but really what we've noticed over the years is that many times the communities develop on each side of the roadway, so they kind of sprout up already divided, and in either case, whether it's a chicken and the egg situation, which came first, the goal is to reconnect these and reduce them as a barrier. So that's something I do a lot of in my practice, and working with folks like Lindsay really allows us to step our game up and bring engineering practice into our plan development. It gives us confidence to move forward, and with concepts that we know are constructible, and really produces a one-stop shop for our clients. So one of the keys of reconnecting these communities is, oh, Lindsay, we lost your screen.
Sorry, I know. You lost me completely. I got kicked out of the meeting. I don't know what happened. All right, I am back. Can you see the screen now?
Not yet.
All right, it says I'm sharing. John and Andrew, can you guys see it up there? Sorry about the technical difficulties.
No, we cannot.
Okay, I'll try again. How about now?
Not yet.
Todd, do you want to open up the presentation and take over?
Yeah, let me see what I can do to get us out of this. Okay, how about that?
There we go.
Okay, all right, very good. So where were we? Reconnecting communities. Yes, lots of funding being directed in towards resolving these issues, and oftentimes it comes down to intersections, right? It's how do you get across these? How do you calm the traffic along the corridor, but how do you reduce them as barriers? How do you get across? And this is where roundabouts became a really practical tool for us in the multimodal corridor planning, and now subsequently in the reconnecting communities solutions. So what is the role of roundabouts for us? Why do we see these as, I'm not going to call them a panacea, but a really useful tool for most corridors that we look at? Why do I first start my conversation with the engineers of will a roundabout work on this corridor? It's because they maintain traffic flow. They serve a multi criteria list of performance measures, right? They maintain traffic flow. They improve traffic safety by reducing traffic speed. They improve pedestrian and cyclist accessibility by reducing their exposure and changing the nature of that exposure to lower velocity vehicles, lower kinetic energy exposure. And they produce landscaping opportunities, beautification opportunities. They can also be part of, oftentimes when we start work with a community, they lack a sense of character, and this could be an area where a community is bisected by a state route, where the state DOT maybe is not so keen on investing in placemaking opportunities. But if we can all agree on a roundabout, that does provide some landscaping and placemaking opportunities within the transportation infrastructure itself. There's also a emissions benefit, which is why CMAQ funds can often be applied to roundabouts. So they just provide a lot of benefit, and we see them as a practical tool to implement. But they're not without their challenges, and this is where working with the engineers is really key. One of the projects I'm working on right now, we're working on together with Lindsay, is up in an area that receives quite a bit of snow, Lake Almanor area in California, and we early on identified areas of the community where we wanted to put complete street enhancements in, a road diet, lane reduction, and some roundabouts at some key nodes. The first questions we fielded from the clients and the community was, well, what about the snow management? So luckily, Lindsay was able to provide examples from other projects that she had worked on in the past in similar snow country, bring on the public works, the engineering folks that were involved, as well as the maintenance crews. And so again, in working together there, we were able to satisfy the client's anxiety about that concern related to the improvements we were recommending, and move the project forward. Another example of the integration benefiting the project delivery is another ongoing project, this one in West Sacramento. We wanted to look at potential roundabouts at this is a funky intersection where an old state route, kind of an elbow-shaped, L-shaped route, meets two local streets. And a roundabout theoretically would provide a really nice way of joining these streets together, maintaining the traffic flow as well as STAA circulation for big trucks, while also providing that traffic calming. So we sketched it out, which is something that we may have been beyond the scope of what needed to be done for the planning study, but we sketched it out with the client to show where it could impact, where it could work, but it could also impact the layout of a planned development. So we were able to minimize future surprises, work with the developer to see if we can push this forward. one more, actually, there's a couple more examples, and I'll turn it over to Lindsay. One more area where the integration with engineering is really helpful on these studies is in making sure that our plans are ready for grant applications. Oftentimes, one of the big grant programs in California is active transportation program, and they require a certain level of design feasibility consideration before you can apply for these design and construction funds. And so during the plan development itself, it's really useful to be able to bring in some engineering support and make sure that these concepts, these cross sections, these theoretical layouts can fit within the available right-of-way and do not pose any glaring constructability challenges. It's also really useful in generating a partnership internally with the clients, different departments. If we're working predominantly with the planning department, for example, bringing in some design into the project creates some synergy between their public works or engineering side of the house and their community development or planning side of the house, which are not always working together. So fostering that collaboration on a project early on. Okay, and so lastly, kind of all of this wraps together in my mind, and what I really love about the way we're working together between planning and engineering on these issues throughout California is that all of this together builds trust and instills confidence, not just with our client, but also with the public at large. There's, it's not infrequent that you go to a public meeting and you have an informed member of the public, and they may have an engineering background or a construction background. Particularly in rural areas, I see this a lot where we're recommending a project and somebody is very familiar with the groundwater, where the water table is, or what it's going to take to solve a drainage challenge. And so bringing these services together has really helped us build that trust, that key relationship with the community, and honestly helps us move projects forward. We were able to work all along this Highway 49 corridor that's located on the map here in red, and we have roundabouts either planned or in some phase of project delivery all along it, and they were some of the first in the state, really. And so it goes to show that we can get innovative treatments implemented even in areas where they're met with a lot of skepticism by working together. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay, and Lindsay, I'm happy to click through for you if you're still having some issues on your end.
Yes, that would be great. So go ahead and go to the next slide. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. If I can share, I'm going to try to steal it and see if this works. Let me know. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. So I'm going to go through the engineer's perspective of the benefits of planning and design integration. So this is, the first one is the diversity of perspectives. So we are able to work together to create more than just a roadway by finding the funds, repurposing the roadway, and more. And I'm going to walk you through one of these projects. So this is a project that Todd and I worked on together in a desert community. And the thing that I want to point out is the village and the cove. So the village is where this project takes place, but it's really important to understand the context of this area. So this is essentially, if you've heard of the Coachella Music Festival, that is where this happens, just south of that. And the cove is where 10,000 homes reside, and it is this area serves the hospitality industry, and you'll see as I walk through all of the things that are in this area. But one of the key points is that these 10,000 homes are served primarily by this street here, which is Eisenhower Drive and Avenida Bermudez. And the city did a pretty good job on Eisenhower with traffic calming, but Avenida Bermudez acts as more of a highway. So in the morning commute hours, there are about 9,000 cars that come up Avenue de Bermudez and make the right to get out of Avenue 52. But then there's a school that's up here. So all of the folks that are going to the school come up this road and hit Calle Tampico. So these are the two main ways in and out of the city is Avenue 52, Calle Tampico down to Eisenhower and Avenue de Bermudez. So what's in the Cove? It's essentially there's golf course, 2 schools, hotels, housing, shopping, the city hall, library, and park where they host all of their community events, a big shopping and business center, community pool, park, housing, and more. So the city started off with wanting to swap out this stop controlled intersection, which has 4 traffic lanes in either direction, as you can see in that pop out there, and convert that to a roundabout. And we said, that's great. We can do that for you. However, there are 4 lanes of traffic in either direction in all 4 of these lanes. And it was really built out. As you can see, there's homes here, there's businesses. This is a parcel that's currently under development. So there's just not a lot of room to grow. So how can we really put in complete streets and find a way to get the children to their schools safely? And the answer to that for the city was a roundabout. But we took a different perspective. We said, what if you take a 10,000 foot view and look at what the possibility could be if we expand this project? And if we reduce the lanes to 2 in each direction, swap out all of those 5 signals with roundabouts, we can get the volume of cars that you have today and projected for the future through without impacting the vehicle operations and open up 24 feet of roadway for alternative uses. So for biking, walking, transit, and more. The city said, that's wonderful, but how do we pay for it? And that's where we came together and said we could put together a very successful grant for the active transportation program. And we were able to successfully secure $7.3 million in construction funds for this project. And that's exactly what we did. We came together and really, as you can see in these 2 pictures, we worked hard to really change this community. We were able to break down the barriers for walking and biking and create a much more welcoming and safe environment. You can see before and after there were significant barriers to access. People were jaywalking all the time, taking risks. And if you notice, there are no street lights. They have a night sky ordinance, a dark sky ordinance. And so there's really no way to safely cross these streets. You are crossing more than 100 feet of pavement. And in the winter months, it became pretty hairy for pedestrians to get across the street. Even leaving City Hall, once it closes in the wintertime, it was dark. So we installed these mid-block crosswalks with rectangular rapid flashing beacons or RRFBs. We took these streets and changed them from vehicle-centric to people-centric environments, adding in these nice wide bicycle lanes and golf cart lanes. Yes, they are allowed to drive their golf carts on the roadway here in the city. So that was a fun element of design that we took into consideration. And lastly, we changed all of the intersections to roundabouts to really slow down vehicles. So with that 4 lanes of traffic, we were seeing speeds above 45, 50 miles an hour in this business district, in these residential areas, and it just was not a safe place for people to walk and bike. And it was really transformative for this community. Now, the second project that I will walk through is really about continuation of established stakeholder relationships and understanding the concerns and excitement, and then the ability to address long-term and interim conditions. So this project takes place in the city of Napa, which is the Mecca of wine. And in the city of Napa before the project, we were trying to help the city solve a challenge of access to and from downtown, as well as access for Browns Valley. So Browns Valley is where a lot of the community who works in Napa live. And the only way to really get across is over SR 29. So this really did divide these two communities and created a barrier for access. And in the and then there's these Jefferson Street and California Boulevard, which were the two major north-south streets to the north and south streets. And then there's this first street, which was really the only way east and west across SR 29. And if you take a look at this area, and we analyzed several intersections and several challenging points in the city, and we really identified that the key challenge area was roughly this area here in our study, which was called the streets west of downtown. And in the existing condition, you had First Street, which was a one-way out of the city, and the second street was one-way into the city, which made access challenging. So you would get off SR 29, you'd have to come make a right, and get in, but then to get out, you just zoom right out. And we all know that we want to get people into our cities so they can spend their money, and getting out is another thing. If you can get in, that's great. If you have to challenge your way to get out, then you'll spend more time in our city. But we also looked at these 5 intersections. So these 5 intersections had a tremendous amount of delay. And one of the other key aspects of this is, if you've seen on the news, California has our challenges with fires, and the fire department and the fire department is located in this part of downtown, and it was really a barrier to respond to emergencies on the other side of SR 29 because of the significant congestion, particularly at this intersection 1. And this intersection 3 is the off ramp and on ramp to SR 29, and it had a much higher rate of collisions than our standard average intersection. And so this was just a really dangerous and congested place. So we went to the drawing board and said, what can we do? How can we solve this challenge? And given the close space nature of all 3 of these intersections, it was hard. It was a hard challenge to find a solution for. But this was our solution. It was changing the one-way couplets. So now First Street would become the ingress and Second Street would become the egress, and we would construct 5 roundabouts to really keep, mainly it is to have the capacity without having to widen this structure, so that way we can maintain that structure and significantly reduce the cost of the project. But this was a radical concept, and our transportation planning and traffic engineering team did a wonderful job in engaging with the stakeholders during that streets west of downtown study, really having or educating the community around what the challenges were and what these solutions are, which made it a significantly easier task when we came back with the actual design and worked with the community through the design aspects. They understood what the project was, they understood what the challenge was, and instead of having to work through the challenges that come with community outreach when you're proposing a radical change, we were able to come to the community and say, what do you want this to look like? And got their input on opportunities for public art and landscaping and really what they wanted to see. And one of the key things that we heard was concerns over this property here. It was a vacant lot. It was supposed to be a hotel, but it never went forward. And there was just a lot of challenges on this site with graffiti and blight and homelessness, and it was just a big concern for the city. They wanted something done with this property, and we were able to come in and create this parklet, and it is actually a water quality feature. So the entire project site drains to this area, and then water is channeled kind of through, you can kind of see this brown area, but it's channeled through here and then ultimately outfalls into Napa Creek, which is roughly in this tree line back here. We were able to take these very congested intersections and turn them into a complete street environment, and made it so much nicer for not only vehicles, but bicycles and pedestrians as well. So here you can see some of the multimodal elements that we put in place. Again, we have the nice crosswalks with the RFBs, nice wide shared use paths. And you'll notice we only constructed the 3 roundabouts at the time due to funding, but we definitely planned for the future expansion. So in the future expansion, the bike and ped facilities will expand and head over the bridge on this side, but in the interim, it is only going across over on the south side here. We've installed green paint so that cyclists who are navigating on the bike lane can either get off and join the shared use path, or they can go through this skip area and either turn right to go through the roundabout as a vehicle, or go to the left and go through, or left as a vehicle as well. Now this next project dives more into the early education and outreach on innovative concepts. So by bringing in our planning and design groups together, we can really work to make sure that the community understands why things are being designed, how they will work, and more. So putting it into practice, I'm going to walk you through another project. Now this was back in 2010, and Instagram was released in 2010, and we had the iPad. But more than that, roundabouts were definitely not something that anyone was discussing, and particularly out in the more rural environments that you see out here. So this was historically a farming community that was growing and growing quickly. So this is a Twin Cities interchange, which is the interchange of 2 state routes, the State Route 104 and State Route 99, at the southern limits of the city here. And the city was growing. So Walmart was coming to the city here. There were homes being built at a rapid pace all through this area. And this parcel was a proposed development for a lot of high turnover establishments. So a drive-through, a gas station, a Starbucks, and the city was not happy about the growth. They wanted to stay the rural farming community, but the Walmart got approved and came forward, and something needed to happen with this interchange. And you can, I hope you can see, but right here you see a ton of cars stacking. So even without this development, this interchange was failing from a traffic operations standpoint. There were queues backing over the bridge in both directions, and it was a really big challenge for the city. So the proposed plan was a standard interchange, but this came at a price tag of $32.5 million in 2010 dollars. And the city just didn't have that, and there were no funding sources that were able to help make up the funding shortfall. In addition to that, it was going to impact this existing business here. It would significantly reduce the ability for this parcel to be developed, and it would also impact this parcel, which was a future development and also prime ag land. And the city had just spent $46.5 million on a huge interchange just south of there, and so there was really, again, just no way to fund this. So what could we do? We had to think outside of the box and think, all right, we can't do this big ultimate interchange, but what can we do in the interim? And we needed to design for the 40-year design life is generally what our state Department of Transportation requires. We worked with the city and with the DOT and requested a 10-year design period so we could do an innovative solution that allowed us to keep the structure in place and keep the structures completely untouched, with modifying the interchange both on the east and west side with a roundabout. And Caltrans said, all right, you've got it. And we were able to do this interim project. And we were able to do that by bringing in our planning and design team and showing the state that with the proposed development, so with the improvements on Carillion and Walnut and the proposed interchange here, that would that was programmed in the future, that would significantly reduce the demand at the 99 and 104 interchange. And this was a big lift for us to get the state to approve that. They normally don't, but we were able to show through our traffic modeling and forecasting that this was a viable solution. But then we had to go to the community. So what did we do? How did we get the community on board? We were able to identify some project champions. So this parcel here, number 2, we were able to meet with the owner of this business, which was a Tractor Supply store. And we sat down with him and really educated him on the benefits of roundabouts, showed him how roundabouts work and how his large equipment could fit through it. And from then he became a fan. We actually did some roundabout demos. So we set up a life-size roundabout and invited the farming community to come out and the trucking community to come out and drive their trucks through it and see how it would work. And it went a long way with the community. We were able to do a ton of public outreach meetings, had our local champions at those meetings saying, if I am one of the most impacted by this project and I support it. And that was so powerful for our discussions. And we were able to give the community answers and ultimately get it approved. And it operates today beautifully. As you can see in these aerial images, we did not have these staged. These were just trucks and folks driving through the roundabout, and they can drive through it with ease. So in summary, this was a more than 12 years ago, we proposed a radical solution, which is now a go-to solution, which was roundabouts. We pushed for a more sustainable approach to design analysis by showing that with the future development and future roadway improvements, it would reduce the demand on this interchange. And it has outlived its 10-year design life and is still operating great today. We saved the community more than $26 million by keeping this structure in place. We accommodated immediate growth and needs of the corridor. As you can see in this aerial image, this was that little triangular parcel that wound up getting developed. So we've got 2 drive-throughs or 3 drive-throughs and a gas station. And it is, like I said, still getting traffic safely through the growing community. And then the last project that I'll walk you through is one that Todd and I just wrapped up. So this started with creating this comprehensive multimodal corridor plan. And by having our planning and design work together, we were able to have flexibility in delivering the purpose and need. So delivering the project.
It appears that Lindsay has frozen. I don't know if Todd can pick it up or.
Oh, I think she's back.
All right, I'm back.
She's thawed out.
I thought out. I'm back. Sorry about that. Did you hear anything I said on this slide?
No.
No. Okay. So I will get back to that. So the benefits of planning and design. So this last piece really talks about the flexibility in delivering the purpose and need by having our planners and our engineers work together. We were able to pivot the design within the need and purpose and show that even with a change in what was proposed, we were able to provide consistency and metrics to analyze the project versus the plan through vehicle miles traveled or VMT, greenhouse gas emissions, safety, and more. So this is a project that started with Todd. It was a comprehensive multimodal corridor plan. So looking at State Route 29 throughout the main area of the city, so the city of American Canyon. And that the plan really looked at how to improve multimodal and transit through this corridor. So again, this is a state highway that runs through the city, and it really is the thoroughfare that connects some of the bedroom communities to the city of Napa. And what these dots and arrows and things are on the other side is these are transit priority areas, the orange areas, looking at putting in some innovative and adaptive signing. At the green is adding in bike and ped infrastructure and potentially a pedestrian overcrossing here to really reduce the demand of or reduce the signals reduce the signal cycles by removing the at-grade pedestrian crossing and getting pedestrians across the highway in a safer manner. Then we came to the next phase of the project, which was our detailed design, and that's when we started seeing some of the challenges within the corridor, and we needed to pivot. And the city had wanted to expand the highway and make it 6 lanes, but we were able to use our planning folks to do an analysis on vehicle miles traveled and greenhouse gas emissions and showed that it was not in line with our state policies, our climate action plan policies. So we were able to reject that alternative. And then as we started looking at the corridor, we really realized that, this would benefit from a roundabout corridor, and the community and the city were completely on board, but it was not identified in our multimodal plan. But we were able to come together and show that it met the purpose and need. It met all the metrics that the signals did, and it is now moving forward with both of those alternatives. We're going through the environmental process to determine which one is going to move forward. So where do we see this going? Really an increased need for collaboration. We are rapidly evolving our funding opportunities, our design standards, our regulatory environment is changing. And so having a true multidiscipline team with our planning, traffic, and design really allows that flexibility and collaboration. And then mid-project recalibration of design and analysis can maintain momentum. So when things change, when politics change, having a collaborative team really allows that flexibility to make those changes. And then also the benefits of shovel-ready projects, they may need revalidation. So as they've sat on the shelf, when you go to dust them off, a lot of the studies are maybe older and need revalidation. So having our planning team right on hand can really help with that. It allows us to take on bigger and more complex projects with the influx of federal and state funding coming in to tackle the division with communities. So we do have a lot of reconnecting communities grants. Having our planning team has been a tremendous benefit there. And we are working together. We're more nimble and can make those complex changes. And then continue need for innovation. Tried and true roundabouts are still new in some areas, so working together to help get alternative intersections, so not just roundabouts, double diamond interchanges, M cuts, R cuts, you name it. And then roundabouts are adaptable to rapidly evolving context. So that's one of the key components that folks don't often realize, is that roundabouts are scalable. So we can design them for future growth and future accommodation. So making them able to expand to 3 lanes if needed, or opening them up as a single lane and expanding to a multi-lane when the time is right. And then which trends will stick? E-bikes and scooters, autonomous vehicles, and how do we incorporate those into our design? And that's something that our planners are always looking at and diving into. And with that, that concludes our presentation here. I still have the ITE piece to talk about, but John, are there any questions or anything that you wanted us to go over before I dive into?
Does anyone have any questions in the audience here? Anyone? Bueller?
Did we put you to sleep?
Oh, we have a couple here.
All right.
Microphone will work. Can you still hear me, Lindsay?
Yes.
Opening slide, I believe you showed an intersection with a roundabout and a railroad track running right through the middle of it. Where is that example and how does that work?
Yes, that is in the town of Windsor. And I'm trying to pull it back up. Let me back to that. So that is in the town of Windsor, which is in kind of central California. And it works because it is, we do have gates in it. Sorry, there we go. So this was a really neat project. So this is the Smart Rail, so the Sonoma Marin area rail transit. And we have a gate that comes down. You can see, you can't see the gates, but you can, I'll turn on my pointer again. You can see the bars here. And so the bars come down, or the gates come down and block kind of this movement and block this movement. But what it does is it allows for right turns. So before, this was a weird kind of 3 or 4 leg intersection with this road coming in, and it just was a challenging intersection, and it would shut down the entire intersection when the train went through and really back up traffic. And so now this right turn can continue even when the train is running, and this right turn can continue even when the train is running. So it really improved kind of the operations through this area, as well as created a sense of place and a welcome into their downtown, which is right here. This is really the entrance into their downtown. We did work with, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lindsay. I'm moving to another question, but you can continue.
Oh, I was just going to say the other piece, the other safety element is there's some walls here that were designed so cars couldn't come directly through the intersection, but it still accommodates a large truck traffic with the truck apron.
So, Lindsay and Todd, I had a question. How much pre-work did you need to do with elected officials? Did you have like a separate communication strategy for handling city, state, probably some federal people with some of these projects?
Yes, each project is different, and each community is different. Federal people, no. We actually brought in FHWA on the Napa project to have those discussions with the state DOT, because they were a bit hesitant to move forward with an innovative design. Same with the SR 99 project. We brought in FHWA to help facilitate those discussions with the DOT. As far as the communities and the legislation goes, yes, it took a lot of city council meetings, small meetings with council members to kind of walk through and talk through the benefits. Generally, when we are doing something that's a little outside of the box, what we recommend to our clients is going in first before you target a project. You go in and do a why roundabouts or why a DDI and educate the decision makers on the tool before you identify a project, because it's easy for people to be like, oh, well, that won't work here, or you're going to take out, this thing that's been there for hundreds of years, and you can nitpick when you have a specific location, but when you just in general talk about the concept and get the buy off on the concept of a roundabout first, just in general, it makes the project specific discussions go a lot better. Todd, you've done a ton of community outreach in Chester. Do you have anything to share on that one?
Yeah, there and elsewhere. I mean, I think the first step is to come to an agreement on what the existing issues are that we're trying to solve, and that can take some time. But eventually, it seems that people do recognize that, hey, like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable letting my kids walk to the library or walk to school. And why is that? Well, it's because the traffic goes too fast or something like that. Tends to be speed. And so then when you start walking people through options, I don't ever like to really start with the roundabout, but eventually all roads lead to it, and it's because when you look at the options, a traffic signal, for example, and you ask people, well, how is your other signal working in town, or how have you experienced traffic signals in other communities? Generally, people can relate and remember instances where people, flew through a red light right in front of them, or they saw somebody speed up to catch the tail end of a yellow. And so that speeding behavior, to me, is a really good way to come to an understanding over the purpose of the roundabout. And so that works not only with community members, the public, but also city staff and elected officials will respond to both of those constituencies typically. So if you get the public, you get city staff, the electeds will follow most likely, and showing examples from other communities like them. So it does no good to go to a foothill rural community that may lean, slightly conservative in politics, and show them, a town that they don't see eye to eye on anything else. So trying to find examples that are relatable is also helpful in that case. And then showing that you can get the money for it is also always a win-win.
Yeah.
All right, I think we need to move on. But first, let's kind of close out this a little bit by giving a round of applause to both Lindsay and Todd for a fine presentation. And Lindsay, if you could continue and talk a little bit about ITE councils.
Yes, sounds great. So in addition to being a GHD employee, I am also the co-chair for the ITE Council Leadership Team and the 2024 incoming chair. So I wanted to talk a bit about ITE councils, committees, and you. So as the international organization, we have the council leadership team, which is comprised of a chair and 3 co-chairs now. We also have various councils, which are shown here in blue. and committees that sit under the councils. So we've got our Complete Streets Council, Planning, Safety, Traffic Engineering, and TISMO. And then under them, you can see the various different committees that are all very active and putting out some really awesome stuff. So most of the products that you see put out by ITE are championed by our councils and committees. So there are also, in addition, 3 employer councils, which are shown in green, which is consultants, industry, and public agency, and then 1 cross-cutting council, which is education, shown in orange. The technical councils and committees focus on developing new professional development opportunities or products. The employer councils focus more on overarching issues such as leadership, management, workforce, and procurement. And then our Education Council supports our educators, faculty, advisors, and students. As a member of ITE, you can join as many councils as you like. You can do so by going on to the e-community, which is linked down here on the slide below, and I can provide a copy of these slides to John. And it's a great opportunity to engage with other individuals around the globe in your area of interest. And we understand that the transportation profession continues to diversify based on emerging trends. So if you have a topic that you're passionate about and don't see a place that fits, please reach out to our councils or committees or myself and submit your idea to the council for your consideration. And these are examples of some cross-cutting technical committees that look at broader issues from a technical or membership perspective. We have 7 active cross-cutting committees that you can join. If one of these topics interests you, I encourage you to reach out to the community chair or committee chair or contact ITE. All of the information that you can find is on the ITE webpage. Then we've got a new and improved website, hoping to make it easier for everybody to access and see what we've got going on. You'll see at the top, we've got latest news, featured resources, and professional development. So all of it is updated regularly and very clear as to what we're doing and links to all of the awesome resources that we're putting out. And then lastly, we have the ITE speaker directory, and we're looking for folks to sign up on the speaker directory. But if you are also searching for someone to come and give a presentation at your next event, this is a great place to find such a person. So again, there's a lot of opportunities, and I know people have day jobs, but the volunteer opportunities can be as small as you need them to be, or as big as you're willing to take on. So there are a lot of opportunities to get involved in ITE, and I encourage you to do so.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. Does anyone have any questions about technical councils, committees that you'd like to pose to Lindsay? Well, thank you very much, Lindsay. I know it's a little bit in California, but hopefully this start to your day as well as yours, Thomas. So we thank you very much, and you can stick around and listen down to this point if you like the other thing. So with that, let's give. Go ahead, Lindsay.
I was just to say thank you all for the opportunity to come and present to you today, even though it was virtual. We appreciate it, and we hope you enjoyed.
All right, let's give a round of applause. All right, next on our agenda is Rosanna Carrera. She is our international president. She is joining us. This is a coast-to-coast meeting, by the way. So we're transitioning from the West Coast with Lindsay and Todd to the East Coast. and Rosanna, who is in Tampa, Florida. And she is hopefully will be joining us.
Yeah, I'm here.
There she is. And she's going to give a review of 2025 as Internet President. So if you're ready, Rosanna, we're ready.
All right, let me share my screen here. Um, all right, can you see it?
There we go. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for having me visually to give you an overview of IT and what we had done this year. So you can see, I mean, congratulations to the Iowa section on winning the Section Momentum Award from the Mobile District. So congratulations to all of you on that achievement. Those were, for those of you that weren't there, those pictures were taken from the Mobile District, and I wanted to show some of the Iowa members in there. The next slide. So let me see. Okay. So IT is a community of transportation professionals, engineers, planners, data scientists, and technologies policymakers. Everybody is welcome in the IT community. Um, we provide value at all level of the organization, including local, regional, and international. And we work together as one IT. An IT member value comes from being exposed to being part of a network of more than 17,000 professionals and have access to the technical products that uh, Lindsay mentioned in her presentation. So the IT Executive Committee for this year, it was me from Tampa as the international president, and your very own John Davis will assume the reins of IT in exactly 1 month and 3 weeks. So he will become the president of 2024, and Beverly, that was the international past president. And also, I wanted to acknowledge Karen Aspelin from Colorado Springs, that is the 2024 IT VP elect. And IT International, the board of directions sets the strategic direction for the organization. Members can engage through board or committees or task forces, councils and committee that Lindsay described, and through section activities like the meeting that you are today. Your own Andy Swisher is the current director representing mobile and the board of direction until December, and then Carrie Falkenroll will officially join the board in January. And I would like to give my thanks again for Andy for all the time and dedication that he put into serving on the board, and we'll definitely miss him at the board meetings next year. And something that I would like to say, like the IT board of direction is supported by 25 professional, staff in the headquarters in Washington, D.C., and definitely we appreciate them a lot. We will not be able to do everything that we do for our members if not for dedicated staff in Washington, D.C. And until last month, their executive director, CEO was Jeff Panieri. Under his 8 years of leadership, the organization grow is in a good financial position. We have provided a lot of services to our members, and we added a lot of activities and ways to engage for our members, and we appreciate of what Jeff did for the organization. And starting November 1st, we had a new CEO, Steve Kusiemba. Excited for him to join ITE Executive Director. He joined last October as Chief Technical Officer, and he has more than 35 years of experience in the industry in private, public sectors, and also in a professional non-for-profit organization. So he's very excited, and we are very excited to have him and see where he takes the organization in the next few years. So we have operating under one ITE. We have 11 districts, 73 sections, and 6 chapters, and we have now more than 150 student chapters. We are growing. Just recently approved a charter for the University of Oklahoma in your district, but we also growing internationally, especially from students that come to the U.S. to do their master or PhD and go back to their countries. They want to provide that experience back in their countries. So we are excited about that growth at the international and the global district. So the strategic plan said the board of direction have set a strategic plan every 3 years. So the current strategic plan is guide the activities that we did in the last 3 years. So we focus on membership, technical resources, and institutional sustainability, and I will cover a little bit of the success that we had this year on those areas. So in membership, we have a record high of 17,000 members, so more than 17,000 members, and we are hopeful that we exceed 18,000 members in 2024. We added 24 new agency members, 851 transportation planning professionals, and we saw a 20% increase in student membership. And our signature initiative was for this year was our transportation planning professional initiative, and we just want to make sure that they know that IT is a place that they can collaborate with, place of collaboration between engineers and planners. And we engage, we are working with the districts, and you guys are doing really well in welcoming and supporting planners and provide diverse content in your meetings. So we appreciate that. And then in the fall, we're going to encourage and support student chapters in including planning students in their activities. So like I said, we added 851 new transportation planning professionals. So every district added transportation professionals, and we added planners from all over the world as well, from Australia, India, and England, and others. So now that they join us, now our task is make sure that we retain them, and because it's going to make us stronger as an organization as we move forward. I mean, we need to work together to make sure that we are providing solutions to the community that they want, and we need to work together. And we already have a big transportation planning council with over 1,000 members. So hopefully the new members that join can see value on what we provide to them. We also offer like 2 webinars to discuss how they can get engaged, and some of them have indicated a very positive impression. They didn't know what IT was, and that we have all the resources that we have that are available to them. So in the technical knowledge, that was the second area of emphasis. So we have produced over 20 new resources so far in 2023 that range from quick buys to recommended practices. And these range from a very diverse range of topics, from traffic engineering to multimodal transportation impact analysis, and emerging topics such as equity and connected vehicle. Our signature release was the Traffic Wiki. So the Traffic Wiki was changed from something that was produced every 5 to 6 years. as the traffic engineering handbook, and now it's something that we can update online, and members can provide update to the content if you see something that is outdated. I mean, the council will review it, but it's an online tool, and we have received also very positive feedback on having that as an online tool, and it's free for all members to use. And Lindsay talked about the speaker directory, so I'm just gonna mention the ITE Photo Exchange. It's a database where members can upload, share, and access a diverse range of images. We were having issues on getting images from some of the reports and presentations, so you can upload a photo. Just make sure that you are the person that took the photo, and provide a description, and you agree to have other members that can use the photos, and vice versa. But we just only ask you that if you use a photo, just mention the ID photo exchange and the person who took the photo to give recognize those people as well. And then we are working as San Juan ITE. All the districts are gone through a visioning process. The only one is the northeastern district, though they will have a visioning process starting later this fall. And the new strategic plan, we provided a new strategic plan. We developed one under the leadership of Alisa Rodriguez this year, and the mission of the organization was reduced a little bit, but it's still the same: advance the transportation knowledge and practices for the benefit of society. The vision stayed the same, and the values, the only thing that we added here is to the diversity inclusion, we added the equity piece. And the focus areas will be the first to stay the same: membership and technical knowledge. We, instead of institutional sustainability, we're change it to organizational excellence. And in the first two, we want to make sure, like I mentioned, we are growing in the global district, so we want to be intentional of providing more opportunities to engage to our members on the global district, and also bring that knowledge that they have in some of the topics or things that they are doing well. I mean, do like a peer exchange or collaborate with them to provide that those experiences and those things that they're doing well that we can learn from, and vice versa, provide information for them that they can use in their emerging areas that they can learn from what we have done here in the US. And in the organizational excellence, we just want to use the name ITE, a community of transportation professional, more consistently to the organization. And I know John is going to talk more about the 2024 and his vision, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. An ITE website is there. I mean, you can find a lot of information on the latest topics, and of course, the IT community. If you haven't taken advantage of it, just sign up for a council, and you can have real-time collaboration with professionals around the world. And if you have any questions, you contact IT staff, myself, or John, if you have any suggestion of how can we improve, keep improving the organization to better serve you. And I'm just gonna leave you like that: engineers and planners equal success. So the work is better when we all collaborate together. So that was it.
Let's give her a round of applause. Does anyone
Thank you for having me.
Does anyone have any questions for Rosanna? She is at the top of the International Board's Fantasy Football League. She has an awesome team. She drubs most everybody by at least 20 to 30 points. My team played her. I am ranked 11th out of 12. So
Yeah.
fantasy football might be a potential question. I'm not sure, but if it really, does anyone have any questions of Rosanna? All right then. Well, thank you, Rosanna, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You can hang around if you'd like and hear what I'm going to talk about, but I think you already know pretty much. But
Yeah.
With that, I'll switch and share my screen here and bring up the
Thank you,
presentation.
and I'm looking forward to keep working with you next year.
All right.
All right. Take care. Take care, everybody.
All right. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about, well, as let me stop sharing and get this to the mode that works. There we go. So as Rosanna indicated, I'll be the international 2020. And so I just wanted to share a few things, maybe reiterate a couple of them that Rosanna mentioned, and hopefully. So this is the 424. Karen Angswood will be our international vice president. She was elected this past year and has been serving it as an ex officio on the executive committee in 2023 and traveling to about half of the districts. Myself as vice president, I travel to the other half, and that's the routine that we have for the VP and the VP elect. Rosanna will move over into the immediate past president's role, and we'll be joined by Steve Kusiamba, who's our executive director, to round out the executive committee. As Rosanna mentioned, we do have a new strategic plan that'll start in 2024. It's really building upon what we've done over the last 3 to 6 years. We've now sustained our organization, really got a firm footing through the really immense efforts, tremendous efforts of Jeff Piniotti, our outgoing executive director. And now we're looking to have growth to build upon that. So these are the values, the mission statement that Rosanna mentioned just a few moments ago. But we have these pillars, strategic plan pillars, which is membership, technical knowledge, and organizational excellence. These are the 3 goals that we have under each of those. And just to highlight aspects of it, we really want to foster a sense of community and deepen the relationships and cultivate loyalty and grow membership. The world needs from our standpoint, the transportation environment is changing. We're getting more connected and we need to involve more individuals in our organization that deals so we can address the issues of surface transportation. We now have, there's a position, I learned this recently when I visited with the Texas district down in San Antonio. They had a gentleman that spoke. Texas DOT has a position of a data scientist. 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 years ago, you would not have had a position in a Department of Transportation of a data scientist. But in today's world, with connected vehicles, the prospects of autonomous vehicles, the data analytics that we have in terms of safety, for example, those types of positions are becoming more and more prevalent in large state transportations, and they will start being being seen in large cities and then into the medium cities and municipal environments, as well as the metro areas such as we have here in the Des Moines area. Technical knowledge, we're continuing. We want to lead the industry in the core and emerging practices, and organizational excellence. We want to elevate our position as a leader in safety. So these are some of the how we get there. I won't go through each one of them, but we will be looking at having a branding plan, a marketing plan for the name. We want to start using more prominently ITE, a community of transportation professionals, and develop a consistency in how we present our organization to not only ourselves, but also to others in our profession and the general public. We want to continue to engage not only students, but also young members that are transitioning, that are starting their careers, and really keep them and bring them into the organization and find ways for them that they can justify maybe to their employer their participation and add value not only to themselves, but also to their employers. So some upcoming meetings we have, January, we have committee meetings. They are in concert with the Transportation and Research Board's annual meeting. And they typically start on Sunday and are Monday, Tuesday of, I call it TRB week. So if you're there, I know John Witt is going to be in town for the National Committee on Control Devices. If you're interested in getting involved in that in any fashion, especially if you're a public agency member or a younger member, please seek out Mr. Witt. Can you raise your hand, John, for those that may not recognize him? We are looking, we have ITE is one of the major sponsors of the National Committee. They have their meetings starting the week before. Then we transition into the council meetings and then full-fledged TRB for the rest. So you can join for whatever portion of that week and a half that you can. Many of our councils and committees will be having some virtual connectivity for that meeting. So don't worry if you can't make it or you during that time. The next meeting we'll have, this will be another rendition of our spring conference. The topic of this year's will be the journey to safer communities. We've seen a great participation. We had over 1,000 individuals register for last year's 2 days. They are recorded, so you can come back and view them again or view them anew over roughly a 60 to 90 day period. Around the end of May is when they will the recordings will no longer be available. But it's an opportunity if you have two competing topics that you really wanted to listen to or participate in, you can come back and view one later. Or if you want to share one with your office, your colleagues that aren't able to attend, or if you weren't able to attend because of some reason, you can view them later and then pick up the PDHs. The good news is this year's schedule does not conflict with the majority of public school spring breaks. So it's the week after spring break. So you can come after you've done your spring break with your families and your children, come back and enjoy a little bit of respite and listen to the technical sessions. They promise to be very good. These are organized by our technical councils. In April, the Missouri Valley District will be having its spring meeting, and the International Board of Direction will also be joining the district at that gathering in Omaha, Nebraska. And if you want any information, Adam Denny is here. He's actually a member of the Nebraska section. He is, I believe, the section representative to the Missouri Valley District Board. And he can tell you everything you want to know or who you need to talk to about the district. And I believe the call for abstracts is already out. So if you want to present, another way to to convince your employer that it's a good idea for you to attend these meetings, feel free to, and I would encourage you to submit your proposals. Then it brings us to July, where we have the International Annual Meeting, which is a joint meeting with the Mid-Colonial District in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This will be July 21st to the 24th. The abstract for papers for that is out. The call for abstracts is out, and I'll touch on that in a moment. And then finally, we'll be concluding with the Movite. Actually, it's the fall meeting. That'll be in October. It may feel like spring the way it has been this year, but it'll be in Manhattan, Kansas. Again, the meeting in Philadelphia, the call for abstracts is open. The deadline is November 28th. So we had a tremendous outpouring of submittals for last year in Portland, Oregon. We anticipate the same here. We had over 1,600 people attend the meeting in Portland, and we have every indication that we'll see as many or more in Philadelphia. And the general theme for the conference is creating safer, smarter mobility. But you can see the various different tracks or topical areas that you can submit under as part of when you do an abstract submittal. And I would encourage you to try it. You just never know. As a professor of mine once told me, expand your horizons, and you just never know what'll happen. So some of the points of emphasis for 2024, at least from my standpoint as the incoming president, is I want to encourage greater engagement of members in technical projects. This not only encourage participation at committee meetings or committee work, project work, council work, but also encourage sections and chapters to take on and suggest technical projects and maybe engage with a topic that is prevalent in an area, and then allow that to bubble up to the appropriate technical council. To be a member of the committee or council, as Lindsay mentioned, all you need to do is really join on the ITE community, the discussion forum. Then you can sit in on some of their meetings, and if you have an interest or you find an opportunity that's being presented to you or is talked about at one of the meetings, feel free to volunteer and stick up your hand. They don't need people that are necessarily experts in a subject. What they're needing people that have the time, the interest, and the passion to do some work. And it may be the project work is preparing a survey and getting that survey out. And then you work with other professionals, other individuals, and you'll learn more about it. Some individuals will be experts in a particular field, but others may be like yourself, that they're learning and they're gaining knowledge. So it's a great opportunity to get involved and advance yourself in your profession and not just be a member of the Institute. The next will be engaging the Leadership ITE alumni as a sounding board to enhance our member services and experiences. Leadership ITE is an excellent opportunity for you to learn leadership skills. We'll be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the inaugural class. We have a couple of individuals, I believe, that are in the room that were part of that. I will let you find out who those are on your own. But Leadership IT, roughly we're around 250 plus that have gone through the program over the last 10 years. And we just, as I said, we just had our 10th class graduate this year for that program. And it's an excellent program. And we're seeing many people that are in leadership roles in the Institute, as well as in their own organizations or firms. And finally, I want to advance the efforts on membership growth and retention of individuals employed by public agencies. Public agencies we roughly have half, 50-50 split of our membership between those employed by public agencies and those that are employed by private entities. But when we go to meetings, many times we don't see that same distribution. And I know from my past experiences as a consultant, I love talking to colleagues that are in the consulting community, but I really want to talk to somebody who's in the public sector because they're going to probably pay me a little bit more than being a sub-consultant. But anyhow, but we want to try to find ways to encourage and grow that participation, especially in our public agency council. A couple other points of emphasis. One, continue the outreach efforts that we've had for strengthening our programs to students, especially in high schools, universities, through consistent engagements. We'll try to, we have a STEM committee, we have a lot of activities and information that are on the ITE website, and we're going to try to work and further encourage sections and chapters, as well as districts, to engage with the students at the high school level as well, because that's where you can capture their imagination and harness it to become transportation professionals. And then finally, want to deliver quality and fun activities at local levels of ITE. And we'll look to try to develop some metrics to help chapters and sections identify success and opportunities to improve themselves and recognize levels of excellence so that they can deliver quality programs. This is my contact information. If you have any ideas, I'd be very happy to speak with you or receive an email from you on that topic. And this is the contact information again for ITE staff. If you're ever in the DC area for whatever reason and you want to stop by and see the office, they'd be more than welcome. You're more than welcome to stop up. We actually have a wall that talks about the history of ITE and surface transportation as it relates, and it's a very nice presentation. But they are there just a few blocks north of the White House on I Street in what's called the Army Navy office building. And it's a great facility that we've recently restructured and remodeled over the last couple of years to better suit our needs and provide space to, I believe, the New York Times, which wanted to expand on our floor, and that gave us a really nice deal with our landlord. But with that, I'd entertain any questions that you might have about 2024. All right, so I think we're right on schedule, amazingly. So what's next up is our business meeting. And let me stop sharing my screen here. First, maybe is to take about a short to kind of stretch, and then we'll come back here for our business meeting. Smoke yourself. That's how that feels. Yeah. Yeah. You, my sister had to sign up. Yeah. My sister. That's all I got. We don't need anything. Oh. Yeah, good job. Yeah, good luck. I took one. That still works. Yeah, the check was just talking to me. I thought you were like yours. I was just pussy to there. Yeah, there was a lot of, we're good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're just gonna vote. That was number 5. I got there like a 7. It's like the president's words like this. Yeah. The airport. You still live in Jersey? Tuesday, the first one. Every time.
Yeah. No, I've been, I don't get the stuff that goes on. Yeah, good story. I'd like to be more. Oh, I know. I really only had a chance to talk. They're like, oh, yeah, I actually learned a lot. But also, yeah, yeah, once they found me, I'll be back. They're still trying to figure out, but they're still just you know, so they gave us like, yeah, girlfriends themselves, good luck. Yeah, yeah. I'm looking for a Chinese restaurant. Good luck. They call back. Especially like later. That's correct. Yeah, they're like, that's all, I stopped. And I told them, it's a black. Yeah.
Okay, if everyone could find their seat. Find their seat, and we'll get started with our business meeting.
Yeah.
All right, if you could take your seats, please.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I will use my official ITE gavel to gavel this this annual business meeting into order. This also doubles as it can deal with crabs or lobster. It actually has the logo on the one side. Well, it's being kept fresh at another location. So that again, my name is John Davis, section president, and this is our annual business meeting for the Iowa section. And the first order on the agenda, you should have amongst the tables an agenda that you can kind of share along with some other materials. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the 2022 annual business meeting. Justine provided those. I get what I'll ask for is, are there any, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? So Justine, the motion to approve is Andrew Swisher. And the second is Rob Holland. Any discussion, minutes, corrections, deletions, revisions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. Next, we have Molly Long with the treasurer's report. Molly, if you could come forward.
We have some big numbers this year due to the Movite meeting. So the beginning balance on January 1st was $16,109.51. We've had $59,227.41 worth of revenue, but we've had $40,670.48 worth of expenses, which brings our current balance to $34,666.44. But I owe Doug $36, so it's not quite right. We are behind on our income of, sorry, this is as of October 31st. So our budget shows that we're behind on our income, but we have graciously got 9 new sponsors with our new sponsorship program. And so this will look different at the end of November. So basically we have enough money to cover our budget plus our new scholarship account. We have just over $2,000 in it based on donations and $1,000 that the board put into that account. It doesn't just have to be businesses that can contribute to this scholarship fund. So if you are so moved to contribute on your own, that would be great too. And that's all I have.
All right, the next item is an activities report by Tim Crouch, our section vice president.
We started a activities or technical content committee. I'd like to recognize those: Ryan Agayopedia and Corey Bogenreef. They helped myself put together a technical program for the year. We had our monthly meetings. We typically met on Thursdays. They were in person and virtual. We had meetings in 7 months out of the year. Technical meetings. We took off March for spring break. We had the ITE virtual meeting that month, as well as I think that was NCAA in Des Moines. So we decided that would be a good month to take off. June, we combined our meeting with the Movite spring meeting in Cedar Rapids, which was well attended and well received. July, we had a summer social. We have an upcoming social in December on the 14th. That will be in Johnston at Pen and Pixel and Cedar Rapids at Clock House Brewery, I believe. October, we had a meeting with, we had several good presentations of student research reports. Then we cap it off the year with this meeting here. So this is another record attendance in our 3rd annual meeting. So keep growing each year, that would be great.
All right, next I'd like to call forward Todd Knox, our representative to the Missouri Valley District Board, to give a report on the district. You sound loud enough for me.
Meetings are Cottonwood Hotel. The fall meeting is going to be in Manhattan, Kansas at the Hilton Garden Inn. Spring 2025, I wanted to mention, is a joint meeting with the Southern District in Memphis. So that should be a good time in Memphis. And then the fall 25 meeting going to be back in Iowa. I think we're thinking Des Moines, but we're just starting to form the LAC, but we'll be probably selecting the site before too long on that, setting the dates. And that meeting for Iowa is going to be a newer format for Molite. They're putting less responsibility on the local arrangements committee in that the technical program and the financial, the budget, the checkbook for that will be through Molite instead of relying on the local agent of the LAC to kind of keep that up front. But John Witt, I think, is on the committee, leading the committee as on the reformatting of that. So we'll be the first official meeting underneath that format. So that's really all I had at this moment. Ryan, did I miss anything?
Great job, Todd.
All right, and just as mentioned, Brian Wilhelm is our the officer from the Iowa section that is on the Missouri Valley District Board, and also Andy Swisher, as mentioned, is the outgoing international director, and he also serves on the Missouri Valley District Board as well. At this time, I'd ask Justine Hull to come forward to announce the results of the recently completed officer election.
Morning. The votes are in. We had 2 members sign up for or be elected for the secretary position for 2024. That is Ryan Aguayo. I even had it in my head. I'm so sorry. Aguayo. Padilla. I apologize, Ryan. I'm so sorry. And Marcus Cohen. Cohen. See, just turn it off. I'm so sorry. Can you please both come up and just be recognized for that and your efforts, please? Oh, and you sat next to each other. Look at that. And I was selected for the treasurer. Molly was selected for the vice presidency, and Tim has decided to retire. So we had a new president-elect as well. So Molly and Tyler Wiles, please come up as well. So for our secretary, Ryan is our new secretary for 2024. And I was selected as your treasurer. And Molly was selected as your vice president. And Tyler was selected as the president. Thank you, Marcus. What? Yes, sorry. I figured everyone would see your face, you know, and we also, like Tim was saying, we did have activity committee members. I don't think, but Ryan was involved with that. Corey as well. Where's Corey? Is Corey here? Corey was involved with that. Who am I missing? Marcus was as well, and Dan Cook was our student engagement as well. Dan Thank you. But yeah, I think that's everybody. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and Todd. Sorry, Todd. Yes, thank you. I don't know how to do that, so thank you.
And it's certainly the awareness to which will you work will you support will you will you be governed by the policy at all levels quality. It is my pleasure offices which you have been having chosen please show your support. Other round of At this time, I'd like to ask Doug Ripley to come forward for the recognition of our past presidents.
It's an appointed position.
Don't go too far. I gotta take a picture. Put this meeting together. Come on. Pilot reference. Furthermore, this is a past president. That's very exciting. Our past presidents are past president. Andy Swisher served in 2013. And Brian Wilhelm was in 15. Eric Peterson was in 16. Todd Knox in 2017. Jennifer McCoy in 2008. Tyler, as you mentioned, 19 is Davis was in. And these were your eyesight presidents. Your eyesight president. Section after to a section. Bob Holland and federal section president. Andrew Houchin, John Davis. Up in 2023. So I'll take a picture in a second, but one of the things that when we went chapter to a section is apparently our past presidents are now recognized rightfully as royalty, and get to receive an honorary past president's pin from ITE, which has an emerald in there. Now, I don't know if it's a real emerald, so if the ones that are still sitting on the table back there don't take for next year, and we weren't able to get these in time for the last couple of years. So I want to present these to Rob Holland, Andrew Houchin, and John Davis for their service as a section president. And first of all, the emerald is the jewel of kings, right? It encompasses royalty, but also wit, elegance, and foresight. Since I have the stage, I'm just going to actually off a lot of opportunities. I also see a lot. Planning level. Not all of you. I'm going to do a little. Please make sure. You see somebody. Push yourself. Presence. Find. Gotcha. Our past presidents, folks.
Yeah, we're doing it right now. We are doing it right now. While we've got everybody, this is a fleeting moment.
Next one's. Oh, that's true.
All right, the next item that we have on our agenda is awards and special recognitions. And well, I'll bring up our awards chair, is also our immediate past president, Andrew Houchin.
As you may or may not know, Movite, the district we're part of, has a great awards program that they've been putting on for years, and I think the past president's committee, we felt that it was about time that the Iowa section started to get our own footing and try and establish some awards of our own to recognize some of the bright and dedicated folks that we have here in Iowa. So we're kind of starting out with just a couple of awards that we're going to announce here in a couple of minutes. The Distinguished Member Award will be announcing and presenting, and the Industry Member Award will also be presenting. These are awards that are meant for basically a great amount of dedication and contributions to ITE as well as the profession over the course of many years. The member award is for generally a public agency or a consulting member. The industry member would be more for a supplier, vendor, manufacturer. So that's just the distinction there. Then you can see the list of along the left side. These are all Movite awards that we strongly encourage everybody to either apply, or if you have somebody in mind that you think would be a good fit for these, nominate them to the respective Movite position. I'm not going to go through every individual one. You can kind of see the just kind of a quick synopsis in there. And if you go to the Movite's website, they have a lot more details about specific eligibility requirements and the application and nomination process for those. But our intent with the awards program is that we'll try and establish a corresponding eyesight award for most, if not all, of the Movite awards over the next year or two. So we can kind of be a feeder program into the Movite awards. Our intent is that not only the winners that we get, but also anybody that's nominated will automatically kind of forward you guys up to Movite, so you don't have to do like multiple applications or nomination processes. So keep an eye out for more details on some of these that are listed as to be determined. And the last item I'll mention is the student scholarship that was mentioned earlier. We just established that account a month or two ago, and we've already got some really generous donations from businesses, as well as the eyesight board put some of our reserves into that scholarship fund to get that going. So yeah, as Molly mentioned, if there's anybody who wants to contribute individually, every bit helps. We're going to kind of assess what we take in and what we can support giving out on an annual basis, and we'll have more details on the requirements and how much and how many of those awards we'll be giving out. But we're pretty excited about getting that going. So without further ado, I'm going to invite our incoming president, Tyler Wiles, to announce our inaugural
So it's my pleasure to be up here with everybody today to name out our first two inaugural section awards. We're actually going to name these with these individuals way to memorialize and just remember the hard work and feedback and contribution
Stand up here. I'll start with my video. I feel a couple of minutes.
So as Doug walks up here, distinguished, or sorry, the industry member award. Again, Doug has been administrator now. Doug, yes, exactly, chapter and section of store. And also, you can't forget that Doug is also fun with all things social events for meetings. I had the pleasure of enjoyed Doug running by my house as I'm something unathletic. I always enjoyed that. But Doug the same to me as well, as where he was a guy to where I could call him, pick his. If he didn't know it, he knew somebody to reach out to. And Doug has served all throughout the years. Death Rose Barbecue. Takes care of us. So with that, I want another round of applause to present the industry member award, Mr. Doug Ripley. Thank you very much.
All right, let's give our recipients another round of applause. All right. The last mention before we adjourn that I would like to point out is we do have at the recent Missouri Valley District meeting, as Rosanna Carrera mentioned in a photo, the Iowa section received not only one award, but two awards. We were named the outstanding section in the Missouri Valley District, and we were also named the section, we received the Section Momentum Award. So that refers to the greatest change that a section has seen over a year's period of time. So we must be really good, and trust me, there are some very, very good sections in the Missouri Valley. So I think we were very pleased and rather humbled to be named the outstanding section for really it was in 2023, but it's for our work in 2022. So hopefully we'll do a really good write-up, and as we submit our section activities report for this past year, and we'll be having to repeat in that fashion. So with that, I would like to adjourn this meeting if there's no objections. Hearing no objections, we'll consider this business meeting adjourned. And now we can have lunch. And Tim, I don't know if you want to give any instructions for lunch. And then we'll be back here around 1:15.
Going. One, two, three. Okay. Flip around. So we're gonna get a selfie here for a second. One, two, three.
After lunch. There.
Hi. Hey, John.
Hello. How are you? Oh, you've been open. You can, yes, you can. You can actually try it. So let me copy this over. Okay, here's your index key. See what, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. See where's that password? Oh, kicked it out. Okay. Okay. Should be that one. There you go.
F-O, and then 2023 and a dollar sign. Oh, nothing's happening.
There, try that.
Oh, here. Should do it. Oh,
Oh, there we go. Okay. So I can just copy that over. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to, let's slideshow? Let's see, what do we got? Presenting with speaker in full view, full screen. So we do that.
you click on this one.
This one.
Yeah. And if you show presenter view, I am worried that my it's like there. So, oh, there. That's awesome. Cool.
All right.
Okay, I'll just rename my phone back there.
Okay. I'll go ahead and close that. Close that, and then whatever you want to.
Makes more sense. There.
Okay. Let me eject your flash drive here. All right, super. You're welcome.
starts the month before. So that third Tuesday prior, whatever. The third Tuesday. That's when it's advertised for money. Is that the only question you have then? About the release of funds? Well, I guess we answered it then. Okay. No. What happens after they turn it in for the favor letting is that contracts will craft the proposal, together with the documents, do some other things, and then, like I say, nothing hits public until a month. When it's all advertised officially, but nothing is publicly advertised. Right? Yeah, and okay. Okay, yeah, it sounds like you've got enough book there, or to be able to do what you need. So there's no problem. Okay. Okay.
Someone to start. And so I've hired that six. They were trying
They see me. Yeah, I was just talking to you. On the update last year. She just had a birthday. She still can't spend the touch. Everybody. So I have a constituent. Yeah, that's easy. Surprise them.
Oh, yes, no, that's my. That's so. Bill. Dad was Bill.
Okay.
That's my. Bill was not.
Have those plaques in a box.
Yes, yeah, it's usually.
Yeah.
Actually, Milton, his dad had just celebrated the summer his 500th birthday.
Okay, hang on, I believe that's what. What kind of do, pull them out. Okay. I'll join you. Okay. So one over at Doug's here. Thank you very much, police pride, guys. Wow. Totally clearly know. A better way to. You have both, them to watch. Let's try to keep it on the rails. You're doing a good job. I think, how's things going with the DOT there? I'm not sure that you talk too much about. I just haven't seen you really want to. What's your name on it? Surprise, surprise, yeah. It's been a good thing. Yeah. It was a hard decision. I'm enjoying events and that's okay. Yeah. Well, that's everybody really close to what you thought. Don't think those for sure. Makes what they do. Yeah.
Now you have every potential version. Yeah, life has gotten much more complicated.
Yeah. Okay. You were doing just later. Shortly after you got there. But now we got kids so entrenched in it. Yeah. It's not like. Shoot. So it's probably. Thank you, Christian. Your head all in. I'm sorry. Oh, really? So she was $9 a week. Sure. Oh, she was. Teacher. Sure. Gotcha. George, what you doing? That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full percent carriage.
I like the wolves. Yeah. Recycle. Spread the wings. Recycle. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Until they're not. Starting to find. Whatever you want to call it, the place I found the office from. Here's a point. Use the term.
Hey, John. Is this your folder right here you want the presentations dropped into?
Always something. Since when you're doing this, yeah. Yeah, we do. Almost jumped. I do. Literally. Thursday, I do a plan. It's the the 1 year away from. It's not what I do. Adventurous cross. Yeah. So my thoughts. had, commissioners, like, really, they're different, like, God, it's the way you put them.
No, I get to be the session right before happy hour, you know, the one that everyone's really paying attention to. Oh, right? I don't know, maybe we should start it early. Oh, this one, thank you.
This one died on me, and just out of warranty, therefore I
Oh, jeez, really?
doesn't replace it. So they worked me up with options that I already had. So let's find yours.
Other end. Eyesight?
This one?
It's got a lot of pictures, but it's kind of there. There?
Yeah.
I else did PowerPoint, I did PDF. The PowerPoint was like 110 megs. I was like so big. I was like, it had so many pictures. So yeah, I'm right before happy hour. So I figured a lot of pictures is all people are going to be wanting to see at that point. So, it's just gonna go eject. Oh no, that's not. Did I eject the wrong one? Okay, good. I didn't break anything.
I hate to say it, man, this is. You're the one.